despite my name, I'm fully Finnish. I'm actually born in Oulu, but I now live in Jyväskylä. And today we're going to talk about the role of data in decision making. Case Trustmary, this is something I'm really passionate about. I love what I do at work, so I'm going to be talking probably pretty fast, so feel free to interrupt me, ask any questions that you have. But let's get into it. So a little background so that you understand what I'm talking about. So this is me. I graduated from the University of Jyväskylä, and my major was German language and culture, and minors were English and intercultural communication and teacher studies. So I was not supposed to be working with data at all. I'm a teacher. But I ended up being a content producer and interviewer. Then I was the production director in Europe. So this is actually all within the same company. The company has just changed a little over the years. But then in 2021, I started to work in marketing actually. So I started to work with data, and everything I know now I needed to learn by myself and by doing. So I started doing keyword research, writing blogs, outsourcing our writing and proofreading and editing others' work. And then finally in 2023, I became one of our growth marketers. So I'm a data-driven marketer. And all of our decisions are based on data that we collect. Good, so here's the company structure that we have. We have our own product team, so we develop the software. And we have our product team, and their main goal is to develop a product our users love. So we have our marketing team. We need to get sign-ups to our software. We have a sales team. They want to sell like big deals to customers. We have a customer success team, and they're making sure that our current customers or users are really happy and they stay with us for many years. And then we have our admin team, and their main goal is to make sure that we are going to get a funding to our business this year or the following year. And then what the actual business is, so it's Trustmary, and it's a tool for companies to measure their customer satisfaction, collect reviews and testimonials, and add all those reviews and testimonials and social proof to your website. So that's in a nutshell what we do. No questions so far? Good, moving on. So the business model that we have is software as a service, so SaaS. And it basically means that we have built a software, we're constantly developing it, and our users pay us either monthly or yearly to use our software. So you can either choose from, if you want to just show your existing, let's say Google reviews on your website, you can choose the display side, or if you want to start collecting new reviews, customer satisfaction scores, then you need the other plan as well. And that's how we operate. And why we're so obsessed about data. So each Monday at 9 o'clock, everyone sits at a meeting room. We're a 20 people organization. We have one is in Inari, some are somewhere in southern Finland, half of us are in Jyväskylä. So at each Monday, 9 o'clock, we go over how many signups we got last week. How many of those signups that came to our software started to actually use the software like we have said that they should use it, and then how many people started to use a paid plan last week, how many meetings our sales team has held or booked the previous week, and how many deals did they actually close, and how happy our current customers are. So because we are developing a software that's meant to help other companies measure their customer satisfaction, we are also really interested in our customer satisfaction. So we go over those numbers weekly. And then our product team goes over what are the next features and improvements that we're going to launch. And the reason we do that is that if we're able to keep as many of the customers that we currently have, so we have like a customer pool, and if we manage to keep all of those, so none of them are leaving, and then we bring more customers or we sell more to the existing customers, that's when we grow. So if a lot of us are leaving, a lot of the customers are leaving, and some are joining us, then we're actually not growing, we're like going into the other direction. So by monitoring all these metrics in a weekly schedule, it keeps us all accountable on creating growth, because we are all interested in finding the best way our company will become the next unicorn that's coming from Finland. And here is one way that you can position yourself, and this is done based on competitor research. And to beat the competition, you need to know who you are competing against. So, what do you think? You have joined the University of Oulu. What were your other options? Was this your first choice? Were there no other options that you wanted to go to? Anyone? Yep.
Aalto, for example.
Yeah, Aalto was your first one. Yeah. Nice. Or an option that you considered. Nice. So that would be a competitor to Oulu. So for instance, if this program only exists in one place on Earth, it has no competitors, right? And then, like, to figure out how you are competing, you need to think, in the case of a university, like which universities are fighting for the same students within Finland. So in some cases, like for instance, when I started to study German, I also applied to Joensuu and Vaasa. But I could have also applied to Helsinki and Tampere. So all of those universities are competing with one another, but all of them have some advantages over the other. Good. And then what about globally? So if you're gonna go global, or your company you're working for is gonna go global, you need to consider the global context as well, not just the local competitors. Here's like how we position ourselves. So we're a marketing tool, and we like to think that we are gonna be deeply integrated into a business. So there are some, like here you can see SurveyMonkey, you can do surveys with these. These are some tools that you can add your reviews to website. You've probably heard of Trustpilot, and then we're something else. Like we're kind of competing with these, but then we are a category of our own. And this is how we see our business. And it's really important to understand how is the competitive landscape for the business that you're in when you're starting to collect data, because you need to know who you are competing against before you start making decisions based on the data. Here are some of the data sources or tools that we use on a daily basis. So we collect user data from our own software, that's a given. We record our meetings so that marketing and other teams can go over what was said in those meetings by the customers. We enrich our sign-up data. So when someone signs up to our software, we automatically look for their business information with Vital. So when someone signs up, we automatically get the information like what's their website address if they use a business email. What's their website address? How big is the company? What's their revenue? What's the industry? And we get that automatically so that we can start segmenting what are our best customers. I mostly use the software on the right side because I work in marketing. And this is a representation of how our customer data is currently structured. I will give you a second just to have a look at it, because it's a lot. So we have many tools where we track how customers interact, or how they open our messages, or when they start paying, or what the customers are like. And it's a big system that we are running, and everyone needs to have some sort of access to the data that is important for their decision making, if you're following. And to put this into something more concrete, this is actually just, this happened this morning. So we got an automated notification from ChartMogul, which is tracking our paid customers. That is integrated with our internal communication system. So there was an immediate connection. No one needed to do anything because it was set up already before. So we got a new customer from Sweden. And the first URL that you see here, it's the referring address. So it came from ChatGPT. So someone used ChatGPT to look for a solution to adding reviews to the website, and they ended up going to this URL, which is in Swedish, how do you add Google reviews to your website for beginners. And you can see the exact time when they signed up there, and you can see that it's from Sweden, and we have blurred out the actual MRR, so that's like monthly recurring revenue. So how much they're going to pay us monthly from this moment on. And our CEO posted this to LinkedIn because he thought it was cool that we were able to do our search engine optimization, which I will shortly get into what it is, but this is just one part of it. So this is how we use the data. We see where our customers are coming from, how big they were, and what we need to do more of to get more of these deals to become the unicorn. Good. So then going on to my responsibility. So what am I in charge of? To give you a little context, in the past couple of years, we have brought over 28,000 registrations to our software with organic traffic, not paid, no ads, just SEO. We've grown the number of active monthly users from 0 to 350. We have generated over 1,000 paying customers, and we have paying customers from over 70 countries in the world and users from 170 countries. So that's what we've done so far by using data and growing in a way that the data is showing us that this is what you actually need to be doing more of, and this is something that you need to stop doing. So we constantly use data to get the optimal result and to get the optimal growth. So going over a few of our goals. So to increase the number of brand searches, so we want people to Google what is Trustmary. We want them to Google Trustmary and what it is. And also, when you try to log into our software, you need to write the brand name as well. So we want to see that number grow because it's showing us that more and more people are interested in us. Product qualified leads, we want more of those, and that means that you are either an active user, or you book a call with us, or we get your email address. We have some PDF guides, like download this guide to do this, and if you're from a company, which is our ideal customer, that's a product qualified lead. We can market to those people, and we can try to sell our product to those people. And then as a search engine optimizer, my job is to get Trustmary to be found on number 1 on Google for relevant searches. So as you saw already, we got a customer who was looking for in ChatGPT on how to embed Google reviews for their website. It's my job that we are found for that search. And then going to what is search engine optimization, because if you didn't know, everything that you see on the internet, you can blame the SEOs for that, because it's a literal industry that is responsible for getting the content of the companies on top of search engines. So my job is to create the content that shows up on search engines. So there's Google. Have you heard of DuckDuckGo? Yeah, some. There's Bing. And then ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. But these are interesting because they're based on the existing search engines, and for instance, ChatGPT works, like it searches from Bing, actually. So we've probably done pretty well on optimizing our content for Bing as well as Google. They work in similar ways, but let's not get into that too deeply. And for me, the biggest problem with SEO is defining what are the relevant terms that describe our software and describe the problem, how we want to be found on the internet. So to do that, to determine what are the main concepts that we need to be found on from the internet, so I talk with all of our internal teams to figure out what are the problems the customers are solving with our solution. And only after I've figured that out, I can start working with data. So let's look at what SEO means. So it's not just about writing content, it's all of these things. It's a lot. I'm not gonna go too deeply into this, but just to put this into a perspective that whenever you're searching something online, this is everything that is happening on the background. You don't see this. You just see something popping on the search engine. But that's what all the search engine optimizers are doing. They're wanting to get their brand. They want to create content that the searcher will find, that will solve their solution. So here's an example of a brand search. So Oulu University, this is a brand. You can see this little snippet over there where you go to the website or get the directions. And you also see the people also ask. That's also common on search engines. So search engines want you to actually stay in the search engine. So that's why they have these little snippets to offer you the information so that you don't need to click on the result. Because they make money by you clicking on ads and not the organic results. But this is just an example of a brand search, so you know. But then I actually thought to show you, I went into a keyword tool, so now I'm starting to work with data. I went to a keyword tool and looked for study data analytics in Finland. And this is what I came up with, or the tool. And you can see that the total volume globally for this was 0. So that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it's such a small volume that the tools don't register it. But for instance, the study in Finland, international students, for some reason, 1,000 people globally every month look for that. You follow me still? And now we get to the fun part, because taking the same search query, I entered it to Google, and what I'm seeing here is that this is a paid ad, not SEO. It says sponsored, so someone is paying money to show up there. Again, someone is paying money, someone is paying money, someone is paying money. So this is not SEO, even though this is a search engine. Search engines make money by adding these ads on the search results. And the companies pay for each click you make. So if you want to piss the paid people off who are working in the paid part of marketing, click on these ads and then go back and go to the right brand that you were searching for. Because they're actually sometimes paying up to $20 per click. It depends highly on how much it's been searched here. So here you can see the CPC, which is cost per click, and it's in US dollars. So these are relatively cheap because there isn't really much buying intent in these. There's not a lot of competition in these. But yeah, for these clicks, someone is paying. And then when I'm scrolling down, this is the first organic result. They look kind of the same. It's just the sponsor that's missing. And this is also SEO, so if you get those types of things there, it's part of technical SEO. And what I hate about my job is that even though you're ranking #1, you're still below 4 paid ads and a list of featured snippet and a people also ask box, which you saw in the University of Oulu thing. So my job, it isn't the easiest, and I'm kind of wondering why I ever got into it, but what everyone should understand about SEO, I'm not going to explain it any longer, but don't trust the information on the internet, or at least be very critical of what you see If you're citing sources from the internet, it's highly probable that people like me have written the content and not an actual expert in the matter, so be careful. SEO, so search engine optimizers' main goal is to get their business on page 1. Not to serve the searcher per se, but actually to sell you something at the end. But the search engine's goal is to get you to click on ads and to stay on the search engine. So, and also keep in mind that SEO is not just, I'm gonna write this cute little post and it's gonna be on top of Google, it probably won't. It's very technical and requires data analytics skills. Good. And then also fun thing, Google does these algorithm updates. So as with Instagram and Facebook and everything, Google is also algorithm based and they change it every once in a while. And if some tactic has worked for you in the past, they might change it completely. Once I was able to have all of our traffic, I will tell you a story about that later. Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? But yeah, it's constant. You need to be on top of the game. You need to follow the industry trends and see what others are doing and constantly testing what is working, what isn't, and you interpret what works and what not by looking at the data. So, what is data-driven SEO? This goes into like more practical terms. So by doing the keyword research that I already mentioned, you define the key areas your company is an expert in, and you look at the search data to see what people are Googling. And in 2023, we decided to focus on solving like a teeny tiny problem for all people worldwide, and that was how to add Google reviews to website. Because we saw from the search data that there is enough people looking for that if we get even 5% of those, we're gonna, like our business is gonna grow massively. So what I needed to do, I entered the main keywords to an SEO tool, exported the lists, copy pasted them to Google Sheets, and manually, tediously went over the topics, search intent, and search volumes. So this is a screenshot of everything that we did. There were many sheets involved. Then here are the results. So here's the search term. So what people enter in search engines. So they might look for review widget WordPress, which is WordPress is what you use to build a website. So it's a content management system. And people look for review widget WordPress because they want to add a review as a widget to their website. And you can see that here are the monthly search volumes. So here, for instance, Google review widget WordPress has the highest search volume for a month. So it might be useful for us to try to optimize our content for that keyword instead of all the others. So this is like, this is the cost per click, so the paid ads metric that I already mentioned. And actually here you can see, interestingly enough, the how to add Google reviews to your WordPress website. It's $9.48 per click. So that's how much it would have cost us to do paid ads with this search term. So with SEO, if it's an organic result, we don't pay anyone for that. It's my work that's generating the cost. But with paid ads, this is per click that you're paying. And then when I had done all of the different areas, these are what I was looking for. So I actually then went to Google to see what would come up. Then I would determine how likely are they to buy. If they're really likely to buy, I'm going to prioritize that. And then I also look for search volumes in other languages. And this is what Google says, that what wins SEO, so gets you on top of page 1. So aim to create unique content that serves the user in the best possible way. Not true, but they say it is. This is the spokesperson for Google, John Muller. He's really famous and he takes part in the conversation. And this is what he always says, even though I think even he sometimes knows that he just needs to say it. But yeah, then I entered one of the search terms, so how to add Google reviews to Squarespace. So I was looking at the search results and I was like, okay, how can I make something unique that would stand out and then serve the searcher even better? And I was asking myself, is this what the user actually wants to find when they search for this, or is there a way I can spin this around and like help them even better so that they will choose our software instead, come to our website. So then after doing all of this, now I can get to work. So we created, by using the keyword data, we created landing pages. Landing pages are individual pages that you can see here. So all in one review widget, if you would have clicked here, it will take you to a separate page, and so on. So we created these. These are like product pages. Like here's the product that you need. Yay. And then we did how-to blog articles, and we translated these articles and landing pages into German, French, Spanish, Swedish, and Finnish because we saw that there was not a lot of competition, but a lot of search volume. So we figured the best way to serve the international people was to actually localize the content for them. And these are the results. So we got thousands of users. You can see them in the register column. Then we have active users, which are the two, has a widget event, or has third survey answer, which means that they have collected something using our software. And then the final one is paid customers. So here you can see the individual landing pages that have created results for us. And this was a very data-driven project, and we still need to keep on improving these because our competitors are trying to rank us all the time. So I'm still working with these landing pages, unfortunately. So I promised you that we would get to some concrete examples, but do you have questions at this stage? I'd love to answer some questions. Yep.
What do you think about the usage of sponsored ads? Because as a normal user, they always look suspicious to me. But
Can you say it a little louder?
Yeah, I was asking, what do you think about sponsored ads?
Yeah.
And the usage of them, because as someone who's just casually searching for things, they always look suspicious to me, and I never click on them. But do you think that it's say beneficial or smart to use them for your own business?
She was asking, I don't know if everyone heard, but she asked if I think it's beneficial to use paid ads because she thinks that they look suspicious. So she scrolls past them. Thank you for scrolling past them because you're giving the credit to the SEO team and not the paid marketing team. It's actually funny that we also do paid ads for the same keywords that we're doing well organically. And the main reason is that there are a lot of people like you who scroll past them, but you subconsciously still see the brand name. So when you see it further down, you might actually be more likely to click on the organic result because it seems somehow familiar. You don't probably recognize it in yourself because it's like in your subconsciousness, but when you've seen a brand somewhere, you're more likely to trust it. So if you just scroll past it really fast, it might be that your subconscious registered it, and then when you see it in the organic side, you're like, oh yeah, this looks nice, I'm gonna click on this. So, did that answer? Because in SEO, the most common answer is it depends. So it depends. It depends how expensive the paid advertising is. You need to look at what type of people are coming to your site. Are they actually becoming your customers? So it might be that when you're doing paid ads, and if you're doing them badly, it might be that you're just pouring money to the paid ads, but nothing is happening. It's creating like no impact. You're just losing money. So you need to monitor it really closely. I don't think I still gave you a really clear answer, but that's how it is with search engine marketing. The paid and the SEO kind of go hand in hand, but then also don't. Great question. Any other questions? Good. Then moving on to the examples. So I mentioned that I was able to cut our traffic in half. So when I started, I don't remember the exact numbers, but let's just say our monthly traffic was like 40,000 people coming to our website. And when I had worked on the website for like a year, it was 20,000. Yeah, I got a lot of questions on like, what are you doing? So to get users for our software, you need to get people to your website, which is called traffic. And then some of the traffic becomes a user or a lead, so they convert. So what do you think, if a traffic on a website drops 50%, will the conversions also drop 50%? Raise your hand if you think it's going to drop in the same way. So traffic goes down to 50%. Will the users also drop in the same way? You look very, sorry to put you on the spot, what do you think?
Maybe not.
Why not?
Well, it depends on what the website is like, but if it's more efficient in a way, okay, people who want them to do that, then
Yes, I love the answer. You started it with, it depends. Have you worked with SEO? You could. Is that's what we always answer to anything. So I think you're on the right path here because, no, or maybe, let's check. So because I was asked for, like, by our CEO, by our chief marketing officer, like, Eric, what is going on? Like, what is happening? Why is our traffic, why are they going down? No one is interested in them, by the way, when they're going up or staying steady, but people get interested when there's a significant drop. So I knew that it was like the situation wasn't as bad, but then I needed to prove myself, so I needed to dig into the data. So I took the traffic per landing page URL in September when we had the high traffic. Then I did the same for November, where the traffic was halved. And this was actually thanks to a core update from Google. So we changed nothing, and all of a sudden, overnight, half of our traffic was gone. I was sweating, but then I realized that I just need to prove my case. I need to prove that I'm actually doing good work. So then I exported the signups for the same period. I imported everything to Google Sheets. Then I calculated the drop and the increase in traffic in one tab, and percentual traffic change, and sorted the table, and I was able to prove that actually 60% of our traffic loss was from articles, from URLs that have never produced any signups at all, so they were trash, they were no value to us. So when I showed this to our leadership, they were like, okay, good job, you're doing a good job, thank you. And I was like, yay. And then also when I did this, I was able to filter which articles had the highest activation rate. So that means if someone signs up, so let's say 50 people sign up, what percentage of those signups become active users? So if it's 25, then it's a 50% activation rate, which is really high. So they were really, we were able to serve them, solve a problem. They became active users of our software. If it would have been 50 signups, 5 activations, it's a lower number. Still getting active users, but still. So I could prove to leadership and also to myself that the strategy that we had chose for SEO was actually working pretty well. So our sign-up numbers were higher, and they were increasing all the time, even though the traffic numbers were down. So all in all, our activation rate was on the rise, our conversion rate was on the rise. So it was a good result. So we knew that the strategy was creating the results we wanted. So more signups to our software. And that means that we could continue executing the strategy, and we didn't need to modify it at all. And here's what you need to remember from this. So make sure you know what your goal is and measure that from all directions. Because if my goal had been to increase our traffic, I probably would have gotten fired for having it. But luckily, our hypothesis was that when we focus on these low volume keywords, which are people who are looking to buy a software, when we focus on those, we can have actual growth for our business. We don't do anything by having 100,000 people on our website if they don't do anything. They just read our content and leave. I don't care. So then example number 2. I had a lot of signups from an article, but they weren't becoming active users. So I was wondering, is this my fault, or is our software just not ready? Like they had the right intent, but then our software wasn't serving them, so I needed to figure that one out. So here you can see one of our Spanish articles, which was about how to create a review generator for your business. And it had huge numbers. So in 2 years, it has created over 5,000 registered users, and only 4 are active. So when you divide 4 by 5K, it's not a lot, it's a bad activation rate. Only 1 paying customer, so probably not working very well. So then what I did was, because we want to get active users, that's how we know that we're actually solving the issue, not just the registers, because if you sign up to something and you don't use it, you're still worthless to me, right, and to our software, and to our company, because we cannot sell you anything down the line. So luckily, my work was not measured in registrations, but more in terms of how they become active. So what we then did, we tried to activate them, because I was like, I'm sure they're really good, they're really good users, but our software just isn't serving them. They can't find what they want to do within our software. So we sent a customized Spanish email, no one responded. We made changes to the actual page itself. No one reads anything, by the way. We rewrote the whole article introduction, didn't work. We added even a video that explains what we do in Spanish. No one watched it. And then we made it harder to register and offer a free meeting instead. So what we were able to do, we were able to decrease the number of monthly registrations, but their quality didn't improve much. So then I was like, okay, maybe it's me, not the software. So then I went to Google and I looked for the review generator in Spanish. And the search intent, and what I mean by search intent is that people who write that on Google, they're looking for something else than what we offer. They were looking to create reviews for their business using AI, so creating fake reviews. We don't do that. So when they signed up to our software, of course they were like disappointed because we couldn't generate fake reviews with AI for them. So in this case, it's my fault that I created the piece. People are looking for a solution that we aren't the answer for. The signups are worth 0 to us. And fun fact is that the search intent can vary by language and over time. So the English version of the same article has brought a very high value customer for us. They pay like 5,000 euros per year to us with the same article. It was just like directly translated. And it can be that, as with this example, one has started to pay. That could also be a 5,000. I have never checked. I doubt it's anything remarkable, but that could actually be a 5,000 euro per year deal. So you need to know what people are looking for, and this is why SEO is so hard, because it is constantly changing how people look for things, and when you add the ChatGPTs and all that to it, it's hard. And then this was actually a very recent thing that happened. So in the Monday meeting, our registration numbers have plummeted. They just and we're worried. So one of our co-founders, who was presenting his screen to everyone, and he was like, why are our what has happened? Have you done some tests that are influencing this in some way? And then he asked the marketing team, like, have you done something? Is this your fault? And then our chief marketing officer very calmly said, like, on my end, the numbers are actually looking quite positive. So they were looking at the same data, but they were seeing different things. One of them saw that the signups were actually going up, and the other one saw that they were going down. And then he asked, have you done some filtering? Have you added something to the data to filter out, for instance, a country? Or have you filtered out a certain type of customer segment? And then what happened is that the software itself had a glitch in it. So they went back and forth and they shared their screen, and we were all like, is it good or is it bad? We don't know. And then he needed to click a filter on, off and on again, and then the numbers were looking very positive again. So the moral of the story is that you need to know your data inside and out. Every time you see that there's a big difference in trends, especially if it's going like it's looking super nice, probably not all of a sudden. These changes don't typically happen overnight. So whenever there are big differences in trends, make sure that your data is in fact accurate, because the risk of making decisions based on faulty data is that you might, for instance, turn off profitable campaigns in the paid ads because you thought they're not working, even though they might be working awesomely for you. So knowing your data is crucial. This is how I often feel at work. It's a 2.5 person marketing team. So I'm in charge of SEO, and my colleague is doing email marketing, and then we have someone, like our chief marketing officer is doing the strategy, and he's one of the co-founders as well. But he's in really part of the operational work. So this is how I often feel with my data stack, and it's fine. This is how most people start their jobs, by learning, by doing, just to reassure you. And then a little glimpse of all the things that marketers need to be doing, which all involve some type of data. So there's SEO, paid ads, content, social media, email, and then there's the content creation, which also requires data. The analytics itself, it's a mess. Good. And then another really concrete example of how we use data as a company. So we are about to open a market somewhere by hiring a local team. So it's either going to be UK, France, or Germany. And even this preliminary selection is made based on data. We have customers from those countries already without having a team there. So what type of data do we need to look at to make the right decision, to open the right market? So we look at the market size, our SEO performance on the market, how many customers we currently have in each of these countries, and this is really a crucial step, because We are currently operating out of Finland, and we haven't really focused on a single market, but we still get customers from 70. I think it's now even 80 countries, but a lot of different countries globally. So making sure that we are opening a market that is profitable for us. For instance, Spain, not profitable at all. We get a lot of signups, we get a lot of active users, but they're not willing to pay for anything. So it doesn't make sense for us to go there. But we've seen from the people who have come from the UK, France, or Germany, they are actually staying as our customers. And funny thing that I forgot to mention earlier, that even though we translated our content into those different languages, we waited to get enough people from those countries to localize our whole product itself. So we didn't have language versions within our product, it was all English. But then when we got a lot of users from Germany, we were like, okay, now it might be the time to translate the app into German, and we noticed that the activation went up. So it was a good decision to localize it. And then we can use it in other markets as well. But yeah, every decision is based on data. And then we're gonna look at what is the lifetime value of those customers. So in plain English, how much they pay us in a month or yearly, and how long are they going to be our clients. So some people in some segments, so in some industries, might be our customers for 3 months, and then they find either a cheaper solution or they notice that they're not benefiting from our solution enough to pay for it still. And then we do expert interviews with local people. So doing interviews and talking with people, that's also gathering data. It's not just numbers. You need to actually know the market that you're going to go into. So our founders have had meetings from local people from these countries to ask them, how is it like? How do you see the market? Where do you see we would fit in the market? Do you think we have competitors there? Of course, we can find that information also online, but we lack the cultural knowledge. So doing interviews, that's collecting qualitative data, which I love as a humanist and as a language student, that I still get to do that. I still get to do interviews and ask people. That's also data gathering. But based on everything that I just said, if we had even some of these data points wrong, we might end up doing the wrong decision, opening the wrong market. So we need to look everything up really closely and talk with one another within the company. Like, what do you think is the best thing for this? Or do you see any dangers that I'm not seeing? So yeah, being cautious with data. Be cautious with data and drawing conclusions based on the data. And here's a little recap of how we use data. So we do market research, we define our ideal customer profiles, we develop our product, we get a lot of feature requests, and we always look at, how much is this customer paying us? Is it worth developing this product further in this direction or not? To optimize the conversions that we get from the website, planning content and the ads, and then optimizing our customer experience. Any questions? Yes.
Well, I'll be the brave one.
Yes.
Which industries use your service, or which kind of companies and which industries use your service the most?
Interesting question. So I don't know if everyone heard, but Omega asked which industries use our software. Basically any industry. So we even have some cities, the city of Jyväskylä is using our software to gather feedback. Traditional industries are nice. So I'm talking about renovation, home improvement. That's one of our biggest sectors here in Finland. And that's also one thing. We have something that works here in Finland with sales. So our salespeople call the decision makers within the renovation companies, and they're like, have you thought about measuring your customer experience and showing the good reviews that you have on your website, because people will buy more if you do that when they trust you. So it might be a good industry for us also in the UK and in Germany and in France. We need to research that. But we also have other software businesses that use us. It ranges. Some hotels, spas, even some restaurants. So it's basically all companies who want to know what their customers are thinking about them and want to show that on their own website. And the key part why every company should have the reviews on their website is that people trust other people. So whenever I'm looking for anything to buy, I go for the reviews. I go through them with a fine-tooth comb. I want to know what other people in a similar situation have thought about that exact thing. And especially when the price is high, so when it's a kitchen renovation, which costs like $10,000 to $20,000, I want to make sure that other people have trusted this company as well, because I'm going to give a lot of money to this company. So it's improving their sales when they have the happy customers on their website, because people then trust them and are like, okay, I should maybe like buy from them as well. Because also with kitchen renovations, funny thing is that you ask for your friends and colleagues, like, have you used this company? Which company did you use to renovate your kitchen? So we are just making all of this in a digital form. Any other questions? Yep.
How would you start applying this SEO like in a small business, like at first, with no prior experience in SEO?
Question was how to start doing SEO in a small business without having done SEO. Doing it. You look at a website and the first thing you need to do is figure out the keywords. Like how should people find this company? If it's a kitchen renovation company, it's a good example because here in Oulu, it would be Keittiöremontti Oulu for a local company. But then if it has more locations within Finland, then it would be Keittiöremontti Tampere, Keittiöremontti Jyväskylä, and you would need to look at the keyword data, like what are people actually searching for, and then optimizing your content for it. So SEO is basically testing and looking at data to put it, like, create your own little test website and start playing around with it. That's basically the only way. You can look at some SEO courses, but they are more or less always a little outdated because the landscape changes so often. So I would just create my own website and start experimenting with it. Great question.
Maybe to that, having digital presence overall. So combining search engine optimization just by having a website. If you don't have, well, you can build websites for free, but having presence in the social media, knowing that the algorithms in the background are always, playing around, but being present in the digital world, building, there's, for example, Instagram, you have your, what is the company sites or entrepreneur site, sponsored content, all these things that probably pop up with you as well. So as long as you are found in the digital world, that is how you can start building your presence. And then
Yes.
optimize.
Yes, and actually social media is a nice playground. It also has an algorithm. It's different than what the search engines have, but if you can make your content go viral on TikTok or on Instagram or whatnot, it's all about testing. Probably when you post your first video or your first photo to Instagram, it's not going to go viral. It's a miracle if it does. And it's really hard to keep it up. But that's how marketing actually works. It's testing, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. testing, testing again, iterating, testing again. Any other questions? You've had some insightful questions. Good, then I would love for you to give me some feedback. So take out your phone, open the QR code. Now you actually see our product in use. It's made, the survey is made in Trustmary. So it doesn't require you to sign up. You can leave anonymous feedback if you want. You can choose if you want to leave it anonymously or not. When you're filling out the survey, that's also the same way our customers are asking their customers for feedback. So they first ask for feedback, and then they're given the opportunity to leave a review. And if someone leaves a review, that's something that the company who asked can then put on their website. And we do both of those things. So we help them gather those reviews, and then we have this little widget that you add to your website, which then plays all the reviews that you've got. So that's what we do. Yep.
I was wondering, how do you make people leave reviews? Like, do you because if I buy something, I rarely give any feedback. I really do. Like, do you have some incentive for customers? How they, how to make them leave actual reviews and give feedback?
I love the question. He asked if we give rewards to people to leave feedback. We don't. We don't offer any incentives because our core idea is that if you are providing really good customer service, people are gonna give a review. And the problem with many companies is that they don't ask for feedback. And then what happens is that when you're really unhappy with the product or service, you go on Google and you write a bad review. But with our solution, they're going to ask for the feedback, and they can actually correct what was done wrong, and they're improving the customer experience. So you're then more likely to probably buy from them again because they were able to, you told them what was wrong and they fixed it. So actually, by asking for reviews this way, first feedback, sorry, I can't hear when you're talking. Sorry, guys, can you hear me? Good, I can hear you too, thank you. So we've actually tested this method with real life examples, and one company, they only wanted Google reviews, so they sent, it was a delivery company, and after each delivery, they sent a text message using this exact survey, but they just first directed to Google. So no feedback, nothing. The process was just give us a Google review. In 6 months, they got 7 Google reviews, and then they were like, your software doesn't work. And then we had a meeting with them, and we were like, because you aren't using our method to collect feedback. And then within 3 months, after they used this flow to ask for feedback, ask for reviews, they got 171 feedback, out of which 69 were reviews, and out of those, when they asked on the thank you page, would you like to also leave a review on Google, they also got 19 new Google reviews. So you're making it easier for them. You're kind of baiting them into it, like, oh, rate our service, no need to sign up to anything. Because when you ask for a Google review, you need to have a Google account, you need to be signed in. I'm not always signed in to my Google account. And I never leave Google reviews because I hate them. I don't want to be tracked in that way. I want to stay kind of anonymous. So when you're asking for feedback from customers in an easy way, just stars or 1 to 5 scale or whatnot, And then the open feedback. You can leave it or you can skip the phase as well. Did you now leave a review or not?
I did.
You did! See, it worked. Yeah, case in point. So I didn't need to give you a reward. You still left me a review, and now when I approach, I don't know, other universities or SEO speech things, I can send my stack of reviews. Like, this is what people thought about me giving a presentation. There you go. Or if I create my own website, I can add them there. Like, this person from the University of Oulu said that they liked my talk, or whatever you said. But
So it's ask for feedback rather than a review.
yeah, ask for feedback first.
Yeah.
And then, and this is also one thing that separates us from feedback companies, is that a lot of companies ask for your feedback and it's all private and it's all internal, and then they follow up with another survey. Oh, you left us some good feedback, would you like to get this publicly? And it's already gone the moment. If I ask you tomorrow to leave me a review, oh, you left me like a really nice comment, would you mind sharing this with the world as well? You're probably like, no. But now when you're in the height of the moment, you're like, yes, that was really insightful, I learned so much. And you're like, yeah, sure, I can give this publicly. So that's kind of the magic and what we are doing differently from all the other feedback companies. And that's also why I'm gonna go really far back. I wanna go back. Here. So here you can see all of those internal feedback tools. We're different from them because they can use the feedback also in their marketing. And that's something that no other company is doing at the moment. Except for maybe Trustpilot, but they have a very sketchy reputation and they're really expensive. Really expensive.
Airbnb is using Trustmary.
No, they have their own review system.
Just wondering where I have seen them.
Yeah, they might use it
Yeah.
for their own companies.
Yeah.
Review, yeah. Because Airbnb also have their internal review system. I know it because if you have an Airbnb, you can import those reviews to Trustmary and then put them on your website.
All right, thank you. So as you see, the world of data and analytics there's a lot going behind the scenes. So we hope that you got some insights and maybe some future spark for thought also for what you want to do in the future. So thanks for all the comments, and indeed don't forget to finish your feedback. It's all data, as we have learned, and very important.
Yes.
So thank you, and
Thank
see you
you
again
all.
next time.